Gosh, I am so disheveled. Welcome back, icons, to Mila's Thoughts Lately. I hope we are all doing fabulous. If you don't know already, this is a Substack adjacent podcast available on most streaming platforms where we talk about the beauty industry and internet culture so we can heal our relationship with the internet so we can become icons on and offline. Let's go ahead and just get straight into it. First off, I have an announcement to make. My head hurts deeply, and you can tell based off of my teeth that I have been drinking so much caffeine because it is finals and I only have one exam left. So as a treat, I am filming this great, awesome episode for you today. We have a really cool topic that's based off of one of my research articles where I talk about actually the girl next door archetype. Yes. And in Americana culture, cheeseburger advertisements with Paris Hilton, Alix Earle, and of course, rebranding to the girl next door, its pros, its cons, and what to expect. And of course, I have a mocktail with me because my head hurts so bad. I was like, I need electrolytes in this girl. She needs this in her tum-tum. It's time to suck up all the caffeine and just like give it a break because it is 7 o'clock as of like watching this. Now, if you want to skip the cool life update and the beauty news and so forth, and like my like top 5 things and like summer plans and things that I hope are great that will rub off on you, then you can skip to the timestamp down below. But first, let me tell you what's in my mocktail today. It is first sip. Are you guys ready, guys? First sip. So, there's cranberry in this, cranberry juice specifically. There's also red wine vinegar, rosemary, citrus, electrolytes, and a little bit of vitamin D in it as well. I have little drops for it. And a little vanilla extract for the coloring and also the antioxidants, but also just so it has that little bit of depth in flavor. And it feels good. I definitely feel like I feel refreshed. I don't feel super energized, luckily, because I watered it down. I want to cut back on the sugar, which is hard because I already had like 5 cups of tea today and like coffee with a bunch of sugar in it. So what am I even talking about? But this is my little bougie sweet treat that I will do to get myself through the evening, to get myself unwind and relax so I can do my 12-step skincare routine and then get to bed so I can do another exam the next day. But guess what? I have an announcement. And that is I am graduating from frickin' college this week. I am graduating and I cannot wait to show you guys eventually my cap and gown on my Insta. I have these really beautiful butterfly clips that flutter in the wind when you move your head around, and they're going to be all over my cap and gown. I'm bringing back the whimsy in my life. This is my goal over the summer, is not just to improve my life and become iconic in nature and to live my iconic life while being stay-at-home daughter energy with my mom, but also to add a little whimsy into my life because I realize life is just 10 times better if I added a little bit extra whimsy, which is the goal. If you don't mind already, I obviously am reaching down for my notes, doy. But the ultimate vibe is I genuinely feel good. However, I know that I am not taking good enough care of my body recently. Like, you have to expect it. For most people during finals week, it comes in the season. I feel like I get sick mostly during spring and summer, mostly, because I feel like our body is so pent up with stress and adrenaline that the adrenaline suppresses the stress, which suppresses the fever and the sickness. So therefore, once you have nothing to worry about anymore, your body can let loose and then boom, you have to basically be bedridden for like 2 days. It's not even funny. And I'm addicted to taking shifts at my retail job simply because I have friends that need to call out for medical emergencies. Story for another time. But also because I've been spending way too much money on my mom for Mother's Day. Like, it was like, what? Rough. Like, rough. Speaking about spending money on things that hopefully you need, let me talk about like my top 5 favorite beauty products or beauty-based stories of the moment, because your girl gotta do what a girl gotta do. This doesn't always have to be consumer-oriented. This could also be anti-consumer-oriented. So if it's stuff you already have, then kudos to you. And if it's stuff that you can look forward to once you run out, Also, kudos to you. And after we talk about that, I want to get into the horror movie that I'm going to be working on this summer. I did sign an NDA, but I am working on a horror movie this summer that's being produced in San Diego, which is going to be uber exciting. I also got my first journalist internship, a beauty journalist internship with a magazine that's all remote, and that is so exciting. And I could thank my Substack and my 41 subscribers on my Substack, supporters. Speaking of which, before we get into my top 5 favorite things that I'm loving right now that are not always products, sometimes they're just habits or things that I'm doing, things about life that I love, consider actually basically subscribing to my Substack Vanity Thoughts. That is the official name of it, where we talk about beauty and internet culture so we can heal our relationship to internet so we become icons on and offline. Haven't you got the premise? Haven't you got the premise? Really? Because the best part is that you can be there for free, and on Fridays we'll have deep dive essays, Tuesdays podcast episodes, and Wednesdays will be occasional shopping guides that are affiliate link free. And if you want to keep it affiliate link free, consider becoming a paid contributor on my Substack, where you get access to a lot of other free goodies, including exclusive podcast episodes. Whew, now that that's done, let's get into like my top 5 favorite things that I've been so obsessed with right now. So number 1, creative alarm clocks. Specifically creative alarm sounds for your alarm clocks, because my mother was telling me that my little cute tweety 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 bird sounds that made me feel like I was waking up like I was a Disney princess from the 40s was not working anymore. Apparently I was sleeping through it and I was being hella late to everything. And apparently when birds are chirping for over 2 hours straight in a very specific pattern, it's obvious that I'm just not waking up to it. And on top of that, I would confidently say there's a few ones I tried out, and the one that I love is actually the Enchantix Transformation Sequence song from Winx Club. And I love it. Best part is it's so freaking loud. It wakes me up like within 3 seconds to turn it off because I'm too scared for the neighbors. And I don't get to hear the whole thing of Enchantix. Whoa. I don't even get that far. I get to the like little like riff, and then I'm wide awake, and I instantly got out of my PJs today. I know it doesn't look like it, but I did make my bed, which goes into my second thing, and that is learning how to enjoy your mornings without lounging around, in the sense where I instantly went into daytime pajamas. I took off my PJs, and I put on yoga pants, and I did daytime pajamas. Even though it was like drizzly, I did Pilates in my backyard. I journaled for like 5 minutes because I'm going to start doing the artist's way, which goes into the third thing, which is the artist's way. I love it. Am I following it very well to a T? Absolutely not. Am I doing a bad job on it? Yes, I am. I'm going to have to start over again once summer hits, because I'll have more time to really absorb the information and become the best artist I can ever gosh darn be, especially if I want to be a writer, which goes into my next update, which is I'm actually taking a UCLA extension course in TV plot development and TV plot writing, and I am so incredibly stoked. That's 1, 2, that's 3. I would say confidently my next favorite thing to look forward to that I've been loving recently is socks, specifically socks from museum gift shops, because me and my family went to the San Diego Museum of Art, and we got some fun socks. And I realized all this time I was a sock girl. I just needed to be more mature enough to handle taking care of my socks better and taking care of my feet better. And I have been most incredibly pleased. And I love it because it's just a little touch of whimsy. It's a little detail where it can be actually really whimsical, but also really chic and upscale and bold without being loud. And I think that's going to be a really exciting thing. I'll post some really cool outfit pics of that on my Insta if you want to see it, because it's been inspirational, should I say. Very inspirational. But otherwise, if I had to give my 5th and final favorite thing of the season, it will actually have to probably be, to be so for real, I got to go to the dentist. I went to the dentist for the first time in 2 years. Yes, I have to get some cavities filled. Apparently, this is actually very normal for people. It's not impossible to not get cavities. Double negative. I'm so sorry. But I've just been taking care of myself recently, and I've been trying to really, now that I've hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, I'm really trying to understand what works for me on TikTok, what works for me on social media, so I can be on it less, but still give you guys quality content and still feel like I'm connected to myself and to the universe, which sometimes requires us to be a little analog. Otherwise, the summer plans are iconic. I got 3 internships going on. I'm working on a horror movie. I'm not going to be in it. I might maneuver my way, see if I could be a background actress, but who knows? I'm going to be a PA. That's going to be exciting. It's a small team. I already met the director. He's really cool. I'm going to be basically doing a screenwriting class, and I'm going to be a beauty journalist on my Substack and on another magazine that shall not be disclosed. That shall not be disclosed. But now, sorry that I cracked my voice a little bit, and I want to start like chaotically transitioning to the actual topic of today, which was my research topic from a previous Substack post, an essay which is currently still free to view and it's not under a paywall, but every free Substack post, that an article that I write, will be free for 30 days and then it's archived and then that's exclusive to contributors of the Substack. But it is called The Crop Top Grilled Cheese Effect and Alix Earle. And I actually want to talk about with you how we as women are constantly forcing ourselves to rebrand as the girl next door, and how we are now basically having to deal with the aesthetic labor of being approachable when diva, baby girl, icon, sometimes we're not meant to be approachable. And that's just a sign that you are leveling up. Yet in this patriarchal society, especially in media and advertisements, and especially in Americana culture, we are perpetuating the archetype of the girl next door on and offline, which inevitably is trying to say and force women to becoming more attainable and therefore more accessible, which can lead sometimes to unwanted lifestyles and even dangerous situations as well, because we feel the need to be nice, as an example, when we reject a guy who gets us a drink or whatever. It's kind of stuff like that. But I want to go a little bit more deeper and talk about the Americana culture when it comes to the fetishization of women who eat. Think about Carl's Jr.'s NFL ad with Alix Earle, or those early 2000s also Carl's Jr. ad with Paris Hilton in a bikini eating a cheeseburger. Unrecognizable. Oh my God. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that we cannot truly have Americana fast food or food-oriented culture without the inherent sexualization of women. And we're basically now fetishizing women's hunger in general, yet women having to look beautiful as they eat and therefore not really being able to eat. And then that's a pipeline to the product of us being basically romanticizing the creation of food, and that also labor as well. And to get into that, I believe women, because of the girl next door and because of the crop top grilled cheese effect, are developing their own version of the Madonna whore complex, which means that we are inevitably becoming the mother and the lover retroactively through embodying the girl next door archetype, what we see in media and perpetuated in Americana culture. Now, why did I call it the crop top grilled cheese effect? Well, we have the inherent effortless, communogenic, whatever, sexualization. Oh, it's just her part of the itty bitty titty community and a beautiful white tee and just trying not to be perceived, but you are. The crop top is the representation of the aesthetic labor of being attainable, of not trying too hard, of making it look like you're not trying hard, yet you are being obviously quite visible. The grilled cheese is the accent of the nostalgia. It's the comfort you give. It's the childish behavior that is basically accommodated for the opposite gender in heterosexual relationships. This is all personified by the concept or the archetype of the girl next door, who's usually young, pretty, gorgeous, does not know how pretty she is. You don't know you. Sorry, I had to do that. But sometimes a girl gotta do what a girl gotta do. But basically, when we're doing that, we're perpetuating this inherent Madonna whore complex that men are placing onto us, and we have to wonder, what is this doing for us? Well, Alix Earle might have cracked the code of how to personify the girl next door archetype online to become iconic, to become celebrity energy, and I'd like to reverse engineer that, or at least talk about her pros and cons. We're basically Yes, she's benefiting from it, but you're also inherently accommodating patriarchal oppressive standards, but you're also negotiating with them as well. Inherently choosing what you want to basically internalize in order to be liked in the world, and what you're also choosing to reject in order to develop sovereignty. Now, I want to let you know, we do talk about real people sometimes. I've talked about Tyra Banks already, for example, on the Substack, and I want to say two discretionary things, entertainment purposes only, and I only know my commentary based off of my research. They draw from my own conclusions, and I love for this to be an opportunity for us to foster a discussion in the comments wherever you might be viewing this. I think the grilled cheese is a really good example because if you actually read my essay, you would find out that according to Google search trends, when we look up anything girl next door archetype, girl next door trends, girl next door characters, when we parallel it and combined it with like the grilled cheese sandwich search engine as well, like as in like are people searching for grilled cheese sandwiches, there's always a 20% uptick of searches for grilled cheese sandwiches, parallel, completely aligned with search engine results for girl next door, which shows that obviously subconsciously we do have a tie between grilled cheese sandwiches and girl next door because it all reverts back to our childhoods and basically us wanting to be taken care of by the women in our lives while also being sexually satisfied with the women from the women in our lives that also take care of us. We are basically now perpetuating a new version of Madonna horror complex where it's now the mother and the lover, and that comes from women actually perpetuating and acting and negotiating on nostalgia and making that the primary way of them to become more affluent on and offline. She's young, she's inherently approachable, she is non-threatening, but she's also hungry to be hungry. That's the hard part. When we see these Americana cultural like advertisements like from Carl's Jr. or Burger King of a girl in a scantily clad bikini holding a cheeseburger, we are inherently fetishizing and commodifying women's hunger, and we never truly see them actually like finish the burger. It would be such a great opportunity in advertising to actually show her like finishing it and being satisfied, because we don't really see that. We just see the first bite, or just her with the wind blowing in her blowout hair with her next next to it with her head, like, oh my gosh, look how small my head is and look how big and juicy this burger is. Basically, when it comes to the correlations and the causations of sex selling and food advertising, you see a direct parallel, and women are always going to be in the crossfire with it, especially that. Whew. But when it comes to the girl next door, she's manufactured. She is completely factorized. And she's young. She's accessibly designed. And when we basically are seeing this ingrainment of Americana culture, we're being pressured into being accessible. And I don't think that is safe for women. And I think women should have the right to not feel the need to be accessible. You're a professor, hypothetically, let your office hours be closed once in a while. You know, you're not ready to date. Be okay not being on dating apps. Being okay, not having to be on call for your internship at 12 a.m. It's time for us women to be okay to be unattainable. Diva, come on. Don't you see the vision? Don't you see the light? Don't you see the vision light it's giving? But here's what Alix Earle does. Through her viral Get Ready With Me's, she talks about very relatable content. She isn't inherently sexualizing herself. I want to let you know. She's not trying to, but we as a society cannot help it. It just happens. It will happen to me. It will happen to you. And there's no way to really escape from it. Doesn't matter if you're fully clothed. It doesn't matter if you're naked. You will always be commodified as a woman. It's your body. And your body and your archetype, your personality is inherently becoming the product if you decide to become a content creator. And when Alix Earle eventually decided that she was going to be in that NFL ad for Carl's Jr., she was inherently, I feel like, subjugating the concept. She was now finally letting herself be commodified. She was now a commodity. And what's not to say that when influencers do really big brand deals, when Emma Chamberlain goes to the Met Gala, is that just another way of letting your being, your personality, your soul, your essence become a commodity? And once it becomes a commodity, how much control do you have over it? When will you eventually lose control? Will the control become erased and erode over time? That's the hard part. That's the thing we need to keep in mind when we as women are being primed to become more accessible. When we see that we are being told that the girl next door is an art and an eye of attraction, we feel the need to emulate it because, of course, we as women are sociable. We want to be liked. But at what cost? This aesthetic labor of being approachable and kind while also being somewhat exclusionary is the art that creates parasocial relationships online, which I credit for Alix Earle getting super gosh darn famous, just posting her relatable get ready with me's with relatable stories with very unrelatable priced products. With, of course, though, she did have a love for drugstore until she started her own brand. If you want me to review her brand as an acne-prone I'm so sorry, guys. If you want me to review her brand as an acne-prone beauty journalist, please let me know. I'd be ecstatic to talk about that as well. But inherently, when we are forced to be available, to be approachable, there is a safety concern. If we really think through it, if we have to be approachable all the time, we're inherently opening ourselves up to the wrong people. Even if someone's not inherently dangerous, they can still disproportionately affect our lives in a negative way. I'm not saying not just energy vampires, I'm saying like toxic ass people that we need to be prepped for just not being like associated. We need to clean up our social circle and surround ourselves with people who we love. Guys, what if I told you that I invited over 12 people to my graduation dinner? And only 2 people RSVP'd. And to be fair, I have a lot of antisocial friends that don't really get social contracts. We're like, yeah, you don't have to come, but you can't also just say, I don't like parties, that's why I don't want to come. Sometimes you gotta suck it up for a friend. I'm so sorry. This is like middle school all over again. Back to Alix Earle, though, and how she basically perfected that by creating a parasocial relationship of her being commodifiable through her personality and being accountable while also inherently choosing to be accessible. A lot of A's. I know. A+, Alex. A+. But when we do this, we're going to be able to now reverse engineer how she did it and what we can do with that knowledge so we can become more iconic on and offline. A conventionally attractive girl does something romantically, utterly conventional in the sense where it is basically, what's the word? Celebrated nostalgia. It is celebrated relatability. I can trust you. Alix Earle has a background in marketing. She knows that this celebrated relatability is fully calculated. It is basically full disclosure. Not even full disclosure, it's calculated selective disclosure of what you choose to make yourself seem relatable and what you choose not to. Like, for example, I hate AI, but sometimes I still use it a little, and I make a rule where I can only allocate 10% of my tasks a week to it maximum. And luckily, I only hit around 5 or 6% on a good day. The hard part is that we need to talk about when we decide to become accessible in the right way, hence the girl next door who's sweet and kind and bubbly, but also beautiful and doesn't realize how absolutely magnetic she is. We need to understand that there is something to keep in mind, and that is when you are basically personifying the girl next door archetype, she, as a whole, does not realize that she is being inherently objectified. That's what Americana culture does. That's what corporations do when they manipulate and use Americana culture for advertising. People don't realize that they are inherently being objectifiable for the sake of selling a commodity, which inherently is in juxtaposition and correlation with sex, combined with your image is saying that you are edible. You are this burger. Someone can enjoy this burger without any remorse, without any consent, and you are of the same. You become edible. You are not just an object, you are a commodity, you are edible, you are food, you are fuel, you are consumable. And someone can consume, manipulate, pry, and change the order and eat and feast upon you without really you realizing that you are being objectified, without you realizing that people are taking a lot from you than you really need to be. So yeah, diva girl, icon, let's try an experiment of how we can be less attainable. Because the girl next door, although she gets a lot of things, she also will get a lot of flack. Because if you make yourself super attainable, you're opening yourself up to opportunities that don't seem like they're bad, but actually could be. When we sexualize women and sexualize women's hunger, we are making an argument that they are one and the same, both edible. And yet, women will always remain unsatisfied in Americana culture. If we read between the lines, we will see the full picture. We will see the full story of what it means to be a woman in Americana media. It is the fantasy of being objectified. And we have to wonder, why are we internalizing this? Keep in mind, still for the girls that need to know, I'm not saying that Alix Earle is objectifying herself. That's not how objectification works. Objectifying or objectification happens without your consent, period. You do not have control over your objectification. Like, not at all. Like, full fucking stop. Now, we also think about how that could correlate with things like mukbangs and how we are now, even though it's not automatically sexual, we are commodifying women eating. We are commodifying women's hunger, women's lack of satiation, showing that when we become accessible, combined with this aspect, this little pocket of Americana culture, we are told to make, to give, to be, to exist, to flaunt, which is inherently expending emotional, creative energy, leading us starved. Like, for example, as I am talking about this right now, I am genuinely hungry, and I am defrosting a beautiful tilapia that I will take some old pesto, add a lot more citrus and vinegar to it, make a really nice, chutney with it, and a nice, probably, I think, Mediterranean or Moroccan rice pilaf is really toasty. With feta cheese. Basically, I want this to be an opportunity for us to really reflect on what it means to eat publicly online, to also eat that crazy just life, just like how to eat and leave no crumbs. And when we eat and leave no crumbs, how can we protect ourselves? How can we be desirable on and offline while learning how to be calculatedly attainable, while understanding that girly pop to protect yourself? Icon, you do not need to be attainable to be iconic. Capiche? The grilled cheese crop top effect really talks about how we can weaponize comfort, nostalgia, and just childhood stuff, and also the mothering and lovering aspect of it all, the caregiver archetype that is young and youthful and pretty, to our own destiny desires. So if we wanted to say, for example, break that down, when it comes to gaining more iconic behavior, affluence, celebrity energy on and offline while maintaining a healthy distance, we have to keep in mind that we can easily utilize relatability. And if you don't think you can be relatable, you can be accessible through understanding nostalgia, comfort, and you are definitely more relatable than you think. And sometimes being unrelatable can be even better, because that's just another form of iconic behavior. It's knowing yourself fully. I once had a professor tell me that it is a privilege to know yourself fully, in the sense where once you do that, you know exactly who you are in juxtaposition to who people tell you to be, and you can fight against that easily and effortlessly. Decide to take life slowly, to take life in your arms, to not feel the need to be digestible. You don't need to explain yourself. Think about it when a girl commented a while ago that times and calendars scare her, so she'll just use a button and a jar and just a bunch of buttons to tell time and say what day of the week it is and what day of the month it is, and everyone made fun of her. And she was like, I don't need to explain myself. Epitome of not just being so freaking iconic, but also the epitome of feeling the need to not have to be attainable, to not have to be approachable. Those are the things, diva queen icon, that basically perpetuate iconic behavior while also protecting yourself, healing your relationship with the internet, and doing the mostest with the mostest. Overall, it's the idea that you don't have to explain yourself to other people. It also means sometimes saying no. It means leaving a little mystery. It means not caring about what people think, which is hard. It means not feeling the need to put as much effort into your life for it to be seen, knowing that you will automatically be visible to the right people. And if you feel like you're not being visible to the right people, that's a sign to actually review how you are utilizing the things that Alix Earle is utilizing for her fame. What is the area that you need to improve on? Do we need to turn back the nostalgia? Do we need to turn back the comfort? What can we amplify? What can we not? And it's time to basically recalibrate how accessible we want to be to society, to our work colleagues, to our friends, to our toxic boss, to our pet. I like to be accessible to my pet when I have one. I cannot wait. Fabulous. It's time to make that executive decision. And when I was reflecting on writing this essay, I did not want to criticize, and I made sure to go about it through a non-judgmental lens, because I did not want to feel the need to judge women who enjoy basically believing and personifying and internalizing the girl next door archetype. And I see it as a mode of power that comes from negotiating and accommodating traditional gender roles, that you kind of have to pick and choose what you want. And that's just another aspect of, what did I say? Disclosure, specifically strategic disclosure. You choosing how you want to personify the girl next door is your cheat sheet to being relatable in the right way that feels right to you on and offline, so you can get iconic celebrity energy while also protecting your space and your just ability and your personal love and your life and your love and your light. And I knew the grilled cheese crop top effect was in my head for a long time, and I think it was going to be a quote on a top fuck. It was basically going to be a quote for something like witty or like a poem I was going to do. I just couldn't remember, but it was in my head for years. And I didn't know what it meant. Grilled cheese crop top effect. I'm like, it's just another way of seducing a man. But I've recalibrated. I've evolved. I've reached my enchantix. I've gone through the trauma. I know who I am. And this girl is a fairy. Overall, it is ecstatic to be here. And if you enjoyed today's topic, not just our daily life updates, but a reflection on the girl next door archetype, how it's another form of amplifying the Madonna whore complex, and how women and women's hunger are always fetishized in Americana culture and advertising. If you like that discussion, do feel free to check out that deep dive essay currently on my Substack, currently for free till this date right over here. So feel free to consider becoming a paid contributor on my Substack, Vanity Thoughts, where we talk about the beauty industry and internet culture through a feminist lens, so we can heal our relationship with the internet and become icons on and offline in the way that we want to be. On top of that, I also want to say thank you so much for being here. Kudos to you, and live, laugh, love. And most of all, please just breathe, take a breath, and feed yourself. Feed yourself, and do not feel the need to post your food. Do not feel the need to performatively do what you gotta do. Perform for yourself, not for others. Because that's the only way that we can unlock celebrity energy without sacrificing our safety. This was Mila's Thoughts Lately, and if you love commentary like this and my vanity chats here on my bedroom floor, check out my Substack Vanity Thoughts as we talk about all of these things, and consider becoming a free or paid contributor so you can support the pages and get access to the community. Like, for example, if you oh my gosh, like, for example, guys, if you Like, for example, one of the paid tiers happens to actually be for you to contribute to podcast episodes. You could either be a guest potentially, or you could give anonymous questions about beauty, politics, pop culture, just being a life, being your girl, like just being like iconic behavior nonsense, and I can talk about it as advice on the podcast. Speaking of which, I almost forgot, guys. I almost forgot. I have a forum. It's not goodbye yet. I did a forum on campus, my last week on campus, like with like a little Google survey, and I do actually have some advice and some questions about relationships, love, and beauty. And I'd like to just choose 2 today because I had like 15 and I'll just use them on other podcast episodes. But if you want to contribute to that and potentially have your questions and concerns be talked about or answered or being discussed, then consider becoming a paid contributor on my Substack and you'll get access to that. All right, because I love me some follow-up questions. All right. So-and-so originally asked about retinol and how to avoid purging with retinol. Retinol is a superpower concept. I love retinol because I feel like it's retinol. And you don't need to use tretinoin. I recommend the Indifferent Gel. It used to be a prescription strength tretinoin or retinol that now you could get over the counter at CVS, Sephora, I think, Ulta, Target, wherever you might go for those basic things. You'll find it in the lotions and potions aisle. I highly recommend. What I have been doing lately is actually sandwiching my Indifferent Gel or tretinoin with a milky toner of my choice. I'm currently using the pink PDRN NAG rich milky toner from Medicube. That's preventing purging. It's making my skin beautiful, soft, supple, and it's helping me build a tolerance, and it's also helping me not just prevent purging, but it's also redistributing that tretinoin and retinol evenly so you can get a really healthy complexion over time and just get nicer quality skin as well, especially during these months. All right, next. I started dating this boy who is really, really shy, and I am apparently his first kiss, and I want to be his first other things. How should I go about it without scaring him off? He sounds like a little fox that's just scared. Oh my gosh, he sounds like a little baby forest creature, and I kind of love it. It makes me feel like, I don't mean to be weird. I'm sorry. I would say if they're struggling to take hints, don't give hints anymore and just say, hey, I want to be intimate with you at some point. Can we do that? Maybe, we could plan something. Maybe I can cook you dinner. Maybe you could take me out somewhere nice. We could go back to my place and I'll make sure you have the ability to spend the night or something. And blah, 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 blah. And you can see where it goes. And if they're not ready, they're not ready. You could respect that. And I think there is something so just like empowering of being in a relationship with a guy that you're a lot of his firsts. I do think, though, there is sometimes some pressure with it. But honestly, it's not as big of a deal. I think, at least. Like, I think that you will be fine. I think those boys will be the most sweetest, but they could potentially, I feel like, unintentionally harm you, where they can unintentionally hurt you, but since they're new to all these things, they do not know how to not hurt your feelings. And that's the potential, like, trade-off you get from having this cute guy that probably has not been in a relationship yet. So you want to always be aware that, just like how I like to say, first boyfriends are training wheels, they're meant to be discarded. Sometimes, sadly, that goes both ways. Now, I'm not saying you guys are not going to be together forever. If you want to be together forever, if he's like so smitten with you, yes, queen, go for it. But I always say, you want to make sure that they still value you, not just as a first-time experience, but as a lifelong potential experience. And I never want you to feel like you are being discarded, because I know what it feels like to be discarded, to be used, and I think it's the most disgusting feeling to ever feel. And I think that has to do with like a little bit of my Catholic guilt, but I genuinely do not want a girly to go through that at all. That, I believe, will be my 2 forum like vanity chats for this evening. I have to go and make my beautiful tilapia. I'm going to grill it. I'm going to like pan fry it with some nice seasoning. I'm going to make a nice pesto and like acidic, like kind of salsa chutney of some kind, and a Mediterranean style pilaf with some feta cheese. And I am just on the journey to take advantage of this podcast episode's topic and feed myself appropriately as another form of self-care. And I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with me. Sorry for making it sound like it was going to end there for a second. If I need to, I'll edit it. Kind of don't want to, but please consider becoming a contributor to my Substack, Vanity Thoughts. Blah. And you can get all access to the exclusive content I have previously discussed. And you can also, if you become a paid contributor, you can also anonymously donate your thoughts, questions, answers, prayers, thoughts, concerns, etc. for my Q&As, so I can talk about these things anonymously on here, with the potential that your answer or your advice could be given from a girl who only had a life coach growing up, to be so for real. Take a deep breath in, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye. Oh, and don't forget, like, follow, subscribe, comment, contribute to the community, because it's just good vibes, it's good energy, and check out my Substack, and please follow the podcast on Spotify and where else you do usually like to go for it. And if you like this type of format where I get to blab a little and just be high energy and fun and gorgeous, and then talk about and reflect on the deep dives of my essays that I've previously written, let me know. Have a fabulous, awesome day, you guys, and good night. Ta-ta. Bye.